Hi and welcome back to the pod. Today we're talking about a 17-year-old midfielder called Kristófer Jóhannsson Ward, born the 20th of August 2006, grew up in Iceland, is Irish as Icelandic through his parentage. He started playing in earnest with Icelandic team Keflavík in their academy. Their senior team was in the top tier of Icelandic football at the time. He didn't make any first team appearances in senior football, which again is perfectly normal for someone of that age. However, on the 2nd of February 23 last year, as a 16-year-old, only 16-year-old, he moved to second tier, moved down a level, so he was with a first tier team in Iceland, moved down to the second tier with Njardvík, or UMFM as they're known, which is much easier for someone like me to say. On paper, you may be thinking, yeah, he's just moved down. He's moved to their academy, but he's moved down a tier. But obviously, he's smart and his team are smart. They moved down a tier because it was bringing them closer to first team football sooner. And it was a gutsy move anyway, because, he'd have been confident he'd have got involved with the first team in his previous club, but it worked out exactly as they planned. He could have stayed at the higher level, but moving down was the wise decision. Getting that essential first team football, the ingredient to the making of any career, you have to get first team football, and the sooner you get it, the stronger you get, the better, you get used to it and you get involved with senior pros and training and everything, and there's no real going back once you've first team football. So yeah, great move. Anyway, he made that brave, smart move and it paid off, as 8 days later he made his senior pro debut. So only a week later he's, turned out for the first team at only 16, and it was in the cup, his debut, senior pro debut. He went on to make 9 appearances in total for them last season. A lot of bench time as well, and he was training regularly, like 9 appearances. He was also on the bench regularly and training with the first team. Again, you're talking 16, 17 years of age. So, yeah, that's a great turnout for your first season as a senior in senior football. To note, any reservations he or his team, his support group, his family and all, may have had about dropping down a tier, proved smart anyway, because the team he left got relegated, so they were now in the second tier, and he's a year ahead of where he would have been. So yeah, that was a great move to make. You'd imagine he would have had more first team exposure as well, but he decided it was a fairly successful first season, and as you'd imagine, other people took note. And one of the big boys of Scandinavian football came in calling for him in Molde. So a chance to move up the ladder, and clearly an opportunity he couldn't turn his nose up. He's now 17. He was then 17, and he moved from Iceland to Norway and signed for Molde on the 14th of September 23, so last year again. The Icelandic, he went into their reserve team playing in the 4th tier. They play in the 4th tier of Norwegian football. You might be thinking, he's gone down 2nd division in Iceland to the 4th division in Norway. But firstly, he's at a top side now, and he's in touching distance, be training as well with the first team. Norwegian football, I'm not an expert, so stand to be corrected here, but Norwegian football is bigger than Icelandic football, I'd imagine. Again, could be wrong. So I'd imagine the 4th division in Norway is similar, if not slightly off, the 2nd division in Iceland. But again, you're at a much bigger club and a bigger league system. Also to note, there has been some superstars that have played for Molde, the reserve team, Molde this 2, I think they're called, in the 4th tier, one of which is Haaland, that's playing for Man City, of course. So he's mixing in great underage circles, great circles club-wise. Also, Solskjaer, of course, has played for them and managed them on a couple of occasions. So yeah, he's in a great spot. Just to note as well, The season in Norway runs April to October, the same in Iceland, most Scandinavian countries. Sweden, I think, is the similar. Denmark, not sure about Denmark actually, but I think so. So, and of course, Ireland as well. So, yeah, he's still acclimatized to that kind of April, October playing time, you know. So, perfect move. I'm sure if he didn't already know Norwegian, of course he's fluent in English and Icelandic, goes to Norway. If he's not already fluent in Norwegian, he'll pick it up. But you know, the growing list of languages is only going to help him and where he can move in the future if he decides to move on from Molde at any stage. Internationally, he's eligible to play for Iceland and Ireland, of course. His mother is Irish. To those who are wondering, presume his dad is from Iceland. Obviously, the player himself will probably have a preference. I'm sure it's going to be a tough decision, but growing up in Iceland, you'd imagine that would be his preference. Iceland, Ireland, depending who you ask. Possibly the same level. Some might say Iceland's at a better level currently. Obviously, we're biased, we're going to say Ireland, you know, but yeah, I'd probably, if I was to say, it would be more or less a level kind of international. I don't know about the rankings, FIFA rankings, I don't really pay too much attention to them, but you know, being from Iceland's probably going to make them the favourite to get him in the short term, but in the long term, in the seniors, of course, in the youths, you can flip and flop a little bit and then make your decision. Unfortunately, that's happened to Ireland a few times. We won't even mention the names, but anyway. But yeah, it's really down to the Irish setup to kind of court him now, get him in, playing regularly, and maybe swing the ball in our favour a little bit. But again, ultimately it's down to the player, and he has those options there. He turns 18 in 2 weeks' time. Happy birthday. Of course, by turning 18, this opens up opportunities for him now, if, of course, well, not now, when they end their season in 2 months' time, if, of course, there was an opportunity for him to get away from Molde, which I'm sure he won't want to leave. He's in a great position as it is, but also Molde will have him tied up. They're not going to want to lose a prize athlete at this stage, you know, so they're going to have done their homework. They know what they got, and they're going to make sure that he's not going anywhere anytime soon. And again, it's a great club to be in. He's continuing his first team football with Molde, of course. The reserve team in the 4th tier in Norway. Next season, who knows where he'll be in terms of the first team, perhaps for Molde, perhaps a lot of bench time, perhaps a few appearances. You know, it's not going to be the end of the world if he's back in the second team next season either, but he won't be seeing that. He'll be planning ahead, and why wouldn't he? All he has to do now is focus on the last couple of months of the season with Molde, then take a rest, short rest. He's only 18, he's doesn't need to be resting too long, but he's, you know, then he can make his next plan of how he's going to push through into that first team in Molde. It's a great position to be in for him, great club as well to be at. Lots of opportunities there for him, lots of avenues to continue his progression in senior football. He's already got a lot of experience, 2 countries. He's also got that Irish connection, which gets him Iceland, Ireland, underage options as well. Perfectly on course. Hasn't put a foot wrong yet. In fact, he's gone out of his way to make some very smart decisions, him and his team. Again, by his team, I mean family and his management. Fully expect the good decisions on and off the pitch to continue. Skill and intelligence at play here. If you liked the video, send us a subscribe, like, comment. We'd love to hear from you. And as always, we'll be watching.